to Elimination Chamber, we were kicking ideas around, myself and Triple H, and that's the fun part, by the way. I've been kicking ideas around with Triple H for 20 years, dude. Just always having a great time with him and Nick and my team as well. And and Triple H said, what about this? What about John turning? I said, I love it. I love it. The next question is, you got to talk to John, see how he feels about it. And in a moment where you have this shift and click moment, and it happened to me when I was a pure baby face. I got booed out of the building around the world, and they took the title off me my rookie year, and they sent me home in the summer of '97, which is a real thing that I've been experiencing. And I said, I think the final boss's work is done. We've established it. We just pulled off the greatest angle in the history of professional wrestling, other than Hulk Hogan turning heel back in the 90s. I said, this is amazing. We have 6 weeks. Now, let's build.
Okay, so, this has been 13 days since, this was posted. I know I'm very, very late to the dance here. Y'all don't got to remind me. But your boy has been under the weather these past couple weeks. Been feeling a little bit groggy. Okay. Feeling a little bit better now. About 95%, better. But let's just get into this, right? Did The Rock ruin WrestleMania 41? Now, I've been hearing a whole bunch of, analysis, a whole bunch of talk, a whole bunch of, yammering on, who ruined WrestleMania. Was it Triple H or was it Rocky Maivia? At the end of the day, when I look at WrestleMania 41, I came away from that whole show feeling a little empty, as if there was something missing. And the WrestleMania feel just wasn't there for me. It felt like a SummerSlam more than anything. Now, there's nothing wrong with the matches itself. The matches were fine. The main event, however, I accepted it for what it was. Everyone else is getting shit on John Cena and Cody Rhodes being one of the worst main events of all time at a WrestleMania. But I saw it for what it was. And that John Cena, he ain't got to prove nothing to nobody when it comes to being a pro wrestler. Don't y'all realize this man is trying to kill wrestling? So by him trying to kill wrestling, he's going to go out there and he's going to wing it. John Cena is going to go out there and purposely wet the bed. That is what he did on purpose. He's not trying to be the best technical wrestler. I wasn't going into that main event thinking it was going to be some technical wrestling masterclass. No. For me to get my hopes up high is foolish. What I was really expecting was The Rock to tie in loose ends of this storyline of him trying to take Cody's soul. But instead, John Cena gave over his soul to The Rock instead. And for him to say, his work is done, I ain't got no more involvement in this angle. It's like, nigga, you're the one that started this storyline in the first place. Don't you remember that? Don't you remember that you the one that had to sell more tickets? You had to rack up the ticket, the ticket sales for Elimination Chamber, because Elimination Chamber, it seemed like it wasn't gonna, sell out with John Cena and CM Punk, which I think that's a bunch of horse crap, because CM Punk and John Cena are already two big names that can sell out an arena, sell out a show before it even airs. So honestly, I don't even know where that even came from. I think it was just an excuse to get The Rock involved in some way for WrestleMania. I don't think The Rock ever had any real plans to be a part of WrestleMania in any capacity, because I think this man is butthurt to this day that his storyline didn't go the way that he wanted to go initially, with him wanting to face Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, because that's what he wanted to do. He wanted to push Cody to the side and say, listen, I know you won the Rumble last year. I'm sorry, this year. We're talking about 2024. I know you won the Rumble. I know you're guaranteed for a world title shot and you want to face my cousin. But see, we got a problem. I want to face my cousin at WrestleMania. So by that logic, you are going to face Seth Rollins instead. And because his plan did not go the way he wanted it to, I think The Rock got real salty. You know, he don't like being rejected by the crowd. He don't like being disliked. So he had to do what was right for business at that time and put Cody Rhodes back in that main event spot with Roman Reigns, have him finish his story and go from there. But then he wanted to get his way the second time around. He wanted Cody Rhodes to give up his soul, storyline wise, and he wanted Cody to be his champion. But because Cody rejected that idea, you know, The Rock felt, okay, well, if Cody's going to reject my idea and he doesn't want to be my champion, he doesn't want to give over his soul over to me, and since John Cena is willing to be the bad guy in this story, then I'm going to exit stage left. I'm going to remove myself from this equation, even though I'll have Travis Scott go up in there and get cross roads and get laid out in the ring. Oh, I'm not going to be there. Yeah, I'm going to be in Hawaii somewhere doing something. God knows what. He was not finishing up no movie. That's for sure. So it's like, okay, you're not showing up for WrestleMania in any capacity to screw Cody Rhodes over, to lay him out or attack Cody or do some type of screw job finish. Like, I was expecting some screw job type of mess in that main event. I was expecting The Rock to come out there and have the referee ring the bell, because he's the final boss, and who's going to tell him otherwise? If he tells that ref, listen, you better ring that bell. Ring that bell right now. If John Cena got him in that STF submission hold, The Rock has the ref ring the bell. Cody don't tap. Cody's not passed out. But Rock just says ring the bell anyway, and screws over Cody Rhodes and gives the belt to John Cena. That would have been the perfect way to tie in that loose end without really saying a word. The Rock screwed over Cody Rhodes the way that Vince screwed over Bret Hart in Canada. And The Rock hands the belt to John Cena. It would have made perfect sense to do it that way. So I left WrestleMania saying, fuck The Rock. It's like, what's the point of you being involved in this anyway? If you're not going to appear at WrestleMania, the biggest show of the entire year, you can't show your face. You're not filming a movie. You're not under any Hollywood obligations as at the moment. You can't even show up on Raw, but you can show up on Pat McAfee's interview, his talk show. You can make it for that. So it brings me to the conclusion that The Rock had no business being in this storyline to begin with. He should have just stayed behind the scenes as the final boss, not play your on-screen character, but just stay behind the scenes, stay at an office, in your big office, right? Just stay up in there, do your movies that no one really cares about anymore, and just not include yourself in these storylines. Because, legitimately, The Rock pissed off a lot of people. Pissed me off a little bit too. But see, I walked, it's been like 2 weeks already since WrestleMania 41 had passed. And I'm like, I understand it now. Like, I got more clarity on the situation. I'm coming away feeling like, The Rock does not have to involve himself if he don't want to. But it still bugs me a little bit that you do this huge angle, one of the biggest angles of this of this era of the last 25 years. You do it in such a way that makes it memorable, that it's going to be hard for people to forget. Only to do that, and you don't show up for the build, you don't show up for WrestleMania to further the storyline with why John Cena kicked Cody Rhodes in a nutsack for you, because you gave him the signal, Rock. You gave John Cena that signal to do it. Kick him in the balls, lay him out. I got you. Come WrestleMania, I'm going to make sure you win that 17th world title, because I'm going to be there to make sure it happens. But nope, we didn't get that. What we got was Travis Scott getting Crossroads, which was necessary because, look, Travis Scott, I said it before. I said at Elimination Chamber, after the Elimination Chamber, you hit Cody Rhodes, you slapped him. Okay, you got to get Crossroads. That's just how it goes. You want to get your hands dirty in that ring? You want to, struck the world champion? Okay, well, expect to get Crossroads. Expect to get laid out in that ring. That's what happened. So that was a good result, but still no Dwayne. So this storyline does not need Dwayne Johnson involved. In fact, I don't care if he makes another appearance. I don't really care at this point. He can stay away from the storylines. He can stay away from feuding with Cody Rhodes for all I care. Because you wasted everyone's time. You gave everyone these high expectations for nothing. So it didn't need to be what we thought it was going to be. We could have just had our standards lowered. We could have had our expectations lowered, not include The Rock, and still done the heel turn a different way with John Cena. I would have preferred to have John Cena cheat to win during the main event. Have him do the heel turn at WrestleMania. In the beginning, you build Cody Rhodes and John Cena. The feud is based off respect. It's based off trust. It's based off friendship. It's based off, John was a mentor to Cody in the beginning of his career. He was showing Cody Rhodes the way, right? Passing of the torch type of situation. But at the match itself, during the match, the story shifts. It turns into a whole different thing. And John gets desperate. He feels like he doesn't have it anymore, so he needs to cheat to win, right? And he does exactly that. I would have just had them do it that way and completely disregard The Rock wanting Cody's soul initially. So, yeah, that's that. WrestleMania 41, hands down, it was a good show in terms of wrestling. But was it memorable? No. It was not memorable, not even close. It had good matches, and that's all it really had. It had a bunch of title changes. Nothing memorable really happened except Paul Heyman turned on Roman and CM Punk. That's the only thing we're going to remember 5 years from now from that WrestleMania. Jay having his big moment. But it didn't feel that special to me, if I'm being honest. Good for Jay, nonetheless, but it did not feel special the way that I thought it was. So, but we're comparing this WrestleMania 41 to other WrestleManias. It doesn't add up. We're talking the greatest WrestleManias of all time. This one does not add up, especially to last year. This, like I said, this felt like a SummerSlam pay-per-view. That's what it felt like to me.